Item 3 is the adoption of the minutes, and the minutes of the regular meeting dated March 9th, March 30th, and April 1st be adopted. Moved by Councillor Vasilakos and seconded by Councillor Henderson. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. Thank you. Does someone have something on in their background that they could mute their microphone? Thank you. Item 4 is adoption. Yes. Item 4 is adoption of the addenda for today, and there's an addenda. A mover for such, Councillor Vasilakos and Councillor Ritzma. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? And that carried. Thank you. Item 5 is a report of the Committee of the Whole in camera session. And from the March 9th session, there was a recommendation that Roger Court be appointed as citizen representative for a 2-year term of the Heritage Stratford Committee to November 30th, 2021, or successors are appointed. That Derek Smith be appointed the Stratford Area Builders Association representative for a 2-year term of the Heritage Stratford Committee till November 30th, 2021. Then exemption for residency requirement under the appointments policy be granted for Derek Smith as he is a staff member of the Stratford Area Builders Association. A mover for those actions were all taken. Item 5.2 from the March 9th in-camera session was to appoint to the Active Advisory Committee, and that Matthew Orchard be appointed as such. A mover, Councillor Seven, seconded by Councillor Burback, that Matthew Orchard be appointed to the Energy and Environment Committee on the Active Transportation Committee until November 30th, 2020. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. Item 5.3. Is everyone muting their system when they're not speaking? Item 5.3 from the March 9th, 2020 session was that David Scott be appointed for a 4-year term on the Board of Directors of Festival Highway to November 30th, 2023, or until its successor is named. Moved by Graham Bunting, Councillor Bunting, seconded by Councillor Beattie. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? And that's carried. Item 5.4 was from the April 1st, 2020 session, and there was a matter of personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal employer, local board, and security of municipal property, and labor relations or employee negotiations, and at that time direction was given. Item 5.5 from the April 14th, 2020 in-camera session, litigation and potential litigation, matters about an identifiable individual, including a municipal employer or local board employee, and security of municipal property or local board, labor relations or employee negotiations, trade secret or other scientific, technical, commercial, financial interests. An addendum at the April 14th in-camera session, direction was given on all of these items. Thank you. Item 6 is hearings of deputations and presentations, and there is none scheduled at this time. So we'll go to item 7, orders of the day. Item 7.1 is a proclamation for Rett Syndrome Awareness Month. Moved by Councillor Ritzma, seconded by Councillor Gaffney, that Council hereby proclaims October 2020 as Rett Syndrome Awareness Month in the City of Stratford. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? And that's carried. Item 7.2 is a resolution. Purchase the permits module.
There's a lot of feedback, Dan. A lot of talking.
I just ask everyone to have their microphones on mute when they're not speaking, and that should deal with it. Item 7.2 was purchase of the permits module for the citywide tracking software system. And it's staff recommendation that the mayor and clerk be authorized, or the respective delegates, to enter into an agreement with the Public Sector Digest for the citywide permits module at a cost of $101,050, including HST. Is there a mover or a seconder? Councillor Vasilakos and Councillor Beatty moving and seconding. The second part of that is that funding for the citywide be assigned from the 2020 approved capital budget for Amanda upgrades in the amount of $100,000. So that's where the funding is coming from. Councillor Beatty, Councillor Vasilakos move. Councillor Ingram, you have a question? Nope. Okay. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? And that's carried. Thank you. Item 7.3 is a proclamation for the International Trigeminal Neuralgia Day, and then it's the council declare October 7th for this awareness. Mover, Councillor Ingram, seconded, Councillor Burback. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? And that's carried. Thank you. Item 7.4. We'll just hold for one moment, please.
If I may, whenever we turn on one microphone, it takes back on the other.
Councillor Bunting, did you sign in 2 different times with your cell phone and your device?
Graham, you're signed up twice.
I thought I came in why would I? Well, that's not that on the
You have to point out from one of the sign-in so that you don't get feedback.
What we've done, Graham, is we've muted your web-based microphone and we left your other device on. That should fix the problem. It's not fixing it. Graham, can you log off one of your devices? I've done it for you. There you go. All right, let's see if that makes a difference now. Graham, hopefully that will, you will. Okay. Item 7.4 is the correspondence for FCM's Board of Directors, and it is for the information of council. And that they have canceled their AGM due to COVID-19. If you wish to serve on their board, nominations are being accepted until May 18th. Item 7.5 is a correspondence with regard to the Upper Thames River Conservation 2020 budget, and that they're asking that the City of Stratford approve the levy for 2020 be received by Council. Councillor Gaffney, moving. Seconded by Councillor Burback. Discussion.
Actually, no, Mr. Chair, I wonder if I could, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd like to make a motion to refer this back to get more information on what deficiencies they're finding during this latest crisis, because that will certainly affect their budget tally when all said and done, I expect.
So you're asking for a referral for information regarding the budget implications due to the pandemic?
Yes, Your Worship, and I couldn't have said it better myself.
No problem. Councillor Clifford, I saw you raise your hand. Are you wishing to second that? Okay. Since it's a referral and under our procedure bylaw, there's no questions on a referral. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? And that's carried. Thank you. Item 7.6 is correspondence from Enbridge Gas, and it is a notice to us that they retained a third-party company, GHD Limited, to conduct an environmental study for the proposed 2021 Stratford Reinforcement Pipeline project. And due to the COVID-19 pandemic and public gathering restrictions, an in-person public house will not be possible. Instead, Enbridge Gas will offer online public information session from May 3rd to 14th, 2020, and that is for the information of council, and they will be advertising at the public forum. Item 7.7 is a resolution with regard to site plan security. And that staff recommends that section 922, the site plan control bylaw 111-2000 be amended. That 922E and 922F be renumbered to 922F and 922G, and respectfully, and the following be included in 922E, where more than 75% of the work value, as described in this itemized cost estimate 4, has been completed, the applicant may request a reduction of more than 50% of the value of initial security provided. A reduction to the security under this provision shall not exceed the value of the work outstanding. Councillor Ritzma is moving, Councillor Ingram seconding. Discussion.
I have a question as well.
Councillor Ritzma and Councillor Gaffney.
Question with regards to this, will we revert back to our present practice after this COVID crisis?
Mr. Delovic.
Through the chair, no, this is something we've been looking at for some time from a staff perspective, on the securities and what we've been collecting and the amount that we've been holding. And we found it to be quite high. And in canvassing staff, don't recall where we've actually had to use securities on a site plan. So with what's going on in COVID, we felt let's move on this portion of it quickly to allow them to get more of their securities released. There are some other things that we want to look at from a site plan process, but we decided to accelerate this portion on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Gaffney.
Thank you, Your Worship. I had a couple of questions, and Councilor Ritzma asked my first one. The other question was, if we are making a security deposit to make sure that all the agreements in the site plan are adhered to, is there some reason that we're holding on to the deposit so long that it becomes a financial burden to the entity that has made that commitment to finish the site plan? Like, are site plans getting dragged out over many years and this capital is needed operating? Or, so that's what my question is.
Through the chair, in most cases, the securities that they provide is usually a letter of credit. Mind you, we did have one that submitted cash, and now in the process of changing that over to a letter of credit, because they'll need the cash. It's always in the best interest of the developer to get the work done. So not only us asking the developer, if you go and get this work done, we can release the security. So we're always waiting on the developer to finish off any work that needs to be done. So one of the things we're also going to be looking at, as I mentioned earlier, is what we're taking securities on. There may be some elements that really there's no issue with the city if that work isn't done. It's more internal to the site, and really that's for that developer, say his tenants or something like that work that needs to be done. So we're also, as I say, revisiting what we're charging or what we're holding back site plan securities on.
Okay.
Versus some municipalities charge for everything, and that's not our intent.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Anything further? Councillor Ingram.
Thank you. For Mr. Julovic, is landscaping and outside landscaping involved in the letter of credit as well?
I'll rely on governments on the specifics. Those are the types of things that we're looking at. Some of it is public realm improvements. We want to withhold that money. Those are the things that we're looking at right now as to what we should and should not be charging for.
Yes, Councillor Ingram, follow up.
Yes, thank you. So I in light of our strategic priorities and the climate pieces and the environment pieces, I'd like to make sure that the landscaping is still included and that is still completed and as part of the letter of credit, because a lot of times developments can be constructed, the structure is there, the infrastructure is there, the hard surfaces are there, and then the developer kind of leaves the softscape and green touches to the very end, and they can walk away before those are completed. And given our strategic priorities, I'd like to make sure that those are still included and that we're not just allowing those pieces to slide through the cracks.
Thank you.
Through your worship, yeah, definitely, when looking at any changes, we will definitely look at what the council's strategic priorities are and what elements are important to the city that we want to retain security on.
Thank you. Anything further? All right, if not, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? And that's carried, thank you. Item 7.8 is a resolution for easement for sanitary sewer, and the staff recommendation is that the corporation of the City of Stratford accept an easement over Part 1, Plan 44R 56N3 from Marcor Farms Limited for a sanitary sewer. Councillor Ingram will move. Councillor Basilakos will second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? And that's carried. Item 7.9 is a resolution, Brownfield Community Improvement Plan Program, application BF01-20-525, Malone Avenue, DLN Group Limited, or Inc. Staff recommendation that Council approve the Brownfield Community Improvement Plan by DLN Group for Phase 2 Environmental Site Assessment for 525 Malone Avenue to a maximum of $9,125, subject to the following conditions. That DLN Group submit sediment and erosion control plans acceptable to the city. The DLN Group install sediment and erosion control plans in accordance with the accepted plans. The DLN Group rectify any damage to municipal infrastructure made by the regrading of lands to date. And the DLN Group satisfy all of the requirements of the Upper Ten River Conservation Authority to the satisfaction of the city. A mover for such? Councillor Ingram, a seconder. Councillor Burback, discussion. Councillor Clifford.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, is that proposed development, is that housing development or commercial development behind Sophie's?
Mr. Delovic.
I believe that what he's looking for is a residential development that's behind that.
Thank you. Any other questions? It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. Item 7.10 is a resolution for consent application B06-17 for 265 St. David Street, and it's a decision on local planning appeal tribunal, LPAT, COU 20-032. And the staff recommendation is that council receive for information the local planning appeal tribunal decision on the appeal to consent application on a portion of 265 St. David Street. Moved by Councillor Burback and seconded by Councillor Ritzma. Discussion. Councillor Henderson.
So what's our next step moving forward then for this?
Mr. Lunison or Mr. Delovic?
Through the chair, the consent is now officially approved. It's up for the applicant to satisfy the conditions within 1 year. There's no further action that the city has to take on this matter.
Anything further? If not, all those in favor of the motion? Opposed, if any? And that's carried. Item 7.10 is a resolution regarding the updated provincial policy statement, COU 20-033. And the staff recommendation that this report on the status of the updated provincial policy statement be received for information. Moved by Councillor Gaffney, seconded by Councillor Seven. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, if any, and that's carried. Item 7.12 is a resolution with regard to the Municipal Modernization Service Delivery Review, and it's for a recommended service provider. And its recommendation that the proposal from Blackline Consulting to conduct a Municipal Modernization Service Delivery Review be accepted, and that the Municipal Modernization Service Delivery Review be funded through the Municipal Modernization Program with funding that was provided by the provincial government. A mover for that, Councillor Bunting. Seconder, Councillor Burback. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, if any? And that's carried. Resolution 713 is a local funding allocation for the Social Services Relief Fund, COU 20-035, and the staff recommendation is that City Council receive the report titled Local Funding Allocation of the Social Services Relief Fund for further information. That the Director of Social Services and/or the Chief Administrative Officer be authorized to execute the funding agreements related to the Social Services Relief Fund and any related amendments and extensions between the Corporation of the City of Stratford and the Province of Ontario and/or the Government of Canada to be administered through the Community Homelessness Prevention Initiative, and that a Homelessness Emergency Operations Group provide input on how to prioritize and distribute the funds. Councillor Vasilako shall move. Councillor Burbach will second. Discussion. Not all those in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. Item 714 is from the addendum, and it's a resolution for the 2019 year-end results. Staff recommendation that this report of the Director of Corporate Services dated the 14th of April 2020 regarding 2019 year-end results be received, and that the wastewater surplus of $515,053.56 be closed out as follows. $399,085.60 to the wastewater rate stabilization reserve, and then $115,967.96 to the wastewater capital replacement reserve, and that the water surplus of $276,812.84 be closed out to the water rate stabilization reserve, and that the waste management surplus of $508,575.90 be closed out to the landfill closure reserve, and that the building division deficit of $310,012.08 be funded from the building permit reserve, and that the parking surplus of $240,807.20 be closed out to the parking capital reserve, and that the tax-supported surplus of $1,035,362.02 be closed out as follows. $394,000 to the Police Capital Reserve Fund, and $641,362.02 to the Tax Rate Stabilization Reserve. Councillor Clifford's moving, seconded by Councillor Vasilakos, and discussion. Councillor Vasilakos.
I wasn't going to second so much as, I'm thinking that I can understand the transfer to the capital reserve, but given the tax-supported surplus, given the pressures that we're going to be under with COVID-19, would it be more prudent to put that $394 into the tax rate stabilization reserve and to help out with some of our what may be operating pressures that we have? And if after the emergency is over, there are funds still remaining there that can be then transferred to the police capital reserve. And I'm thinking also in terms of some of our policing costs may go up on operating as well, and so funneling into a reserve fund, capital reserve fund may have those funds be sort of less transferable to operating if needed.
Okay. I'm going to ask Mr. Humble to answer that question. I will note that Councillor Gaffney, you did offer to second that motion as well, since Councillor Vasilakos. So we'll transfer the second to Councillor Gaffney. It was moved by Councillor Clifford, and I'll ask Mr. Humble to answer Councillor Vasilakos' question.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The report has laid out the option. I made the recommendation in the report based on the request that came through from the Police Services Board. It is absolutely council's discretion how they treat the city's tax-supported operating reserve. We can certainly place the full amount in the tax rate stabilization reserve, pending a final picture of our position in 2020.
Would the mover and seconder permit the $394 to go to the tax rate stabilization reserve, and that the council reevaluate any transfer of the police capital reserve pending the financial review after the pandemic? Councillor Clifford, you'll agree to that?
I will.
Councillor Gaffney, you'll agree to that as a seconder?
Yes, Your Worship.
Does that answer, Councillor Vasilakos, you're fine with that?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, is there any other questions? If not, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? And that is carried. Thank you. Under item 8, which is business for which previous notice has been given, there is nothing scheduled today. So we'll go to item 9, reports of the Standing Committee. And our first Standing Committee is the report of the Infrastructure, Transportation, and Safety Committee. And that the report of the Infrastructure, Transportation, and Safety Committee, dated March 23rd, 2020, be adopted as printed. 911, Responsible Pet Ownership Campaign. That the city proceed with the Responsible Pet Ownership Campaign in conjunction with the Stratford Perth Humane Society and others at a cost of $4,600, including HST. Item 912 is that the 2019 Water Summary Report be received for information. Item 913 is that Redford Crescent Reconstruction, St. Vincent Street to St. Vincent Street, open house and recommendations. That council receive for the information the description of the proposed design for Redford Crescent Reconstruction. That council receive the information, the comments from the public open house conducted on January 22nd. And that council accept the design and authorize proceeding to tender with the construction. Item 9.1.4 is microchipping as sole method of cat and dog licensing. And that the report entitled Analysis of Animal Control Working Group Recommendation, Microchipping as the sole method of cat and dog licensing be received for information. And that the current method of licensing cats and dogs in the city of Stratford be maintained. And that the acting clerk or designate undertake a review of the cat and dog licensing discounts for microchipping and provide a recommended fee structure as part of the 2020 Animal Control Bylaw amendments. Is there a mover for those recommendations? Councillor Vasilakos. The seconder is Councillor Burbach. Discussion. Councillor Seven.
Sorry, I don't have a discussion for this, but I did have your business. If I could bring that back forward, I just didn't get a chance there.
Sure. Is it specific to the Infrastructure Transportation Committee? Or do you want to do it on new business at the end of the agenda?
Oh, yeah, that's, sorry, no, I have that. We'll do it at the end. Thank you.
Okay. All right. To item 9.1, the Infrastructure Transportation Safety Committee, it's been moved and seconded that the report be adopted. Anything further? If not, all in favor? Opposed, if any? And that's carried. Item 9.2 is the report of the Finance and Labor Relations Committee, and their dated report of March 23rd be adopted as printed as follows. 9.2.1, Municipal Investment Performance for 2019, and it's recommended that the report from the Director of Corporate Services dated 18 February 2020 regarding the 2019 investment performance be received as information. That 9.2.2, the 2019 Statement of Remuneration and Expenses regarding Council's remuneration and expenses be received. That item 9.2.3, Ontario Regulation 284-09, that the report from the Director of Corporate Services regarding legislative requirements of Ontario Regulation 284-09 and the impact of excluded expenses from the city's 2020 budget be adopted. And 9.2.4, that the Treasurer's Statement for development charges and cash in lieu of Parkland Reserve funds be received for information, and that the 2019 Treasurer's Statement for the City of Stratford cash in lieu of Parkland Reserve fund be received for information. Item 9.2.5 is that the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund allocation in grant in the amount of $1,090,577 be allocated to the Queen Street Storm Trunk Sewer Project. And then item 9.2.6 that the Employee and Family Assistance Program services the selection of Homewood Health as the corporation's Employee and Family Assistance Program provider effective March 1st, 2020 to receive for information. Moving that is Councillor Clifford, and seconding is Councillor Gaffney. Discussion. Councillor Clifford.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, if the Queen Street project is put off for a while, will that grant, will it still be available?
I will turn that over to either Mr. Humble or Mr. Lowell.
I'll take that if you like, Mr. Mayor. Yes, the grant allocation is up to us and council to determine which project is applied to. So if we don't use it, and I believe we've already done so, as as we went through our ranking on capital projects this year.
Any other questions? If not, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? That is carried. Thank you. Item 10 is notice of intent, and there is none scheduled. Item 11 is the reading of the bylaws, and they can be done so collectively, but let me go through the bylaws first. And 11.1 is the agreement for citywide permits module. Item 11.2 is appointments to various advisory committees. Item 11.3 is to amend the site plan control bylaw with regard to securities. Item 11.4 is acceptance of easements from Marcor Farms for a sanitary sewer across the property. Item 11.5 is acceptance of a proposal for modernization service delivery review from Blackline Consulting, and it's being paid for by the province through the Municipal Modernization Service Delivery Fund. Item 11.6 is agreement for funding under the Social Services Relief Fund, and it's an agreement with the province of Ontario and or the Government of Canada related to social services relief. They can be taken collectively, and Councillor Bunting and Councillor Ingram will move and second that. Is there anybody wishing to separate any of the bylaws? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? So they'll be taken collectively. So for first and second reading of bylaws 11.1 through 6, moving is Councillor Henderson and Councillor Beattie. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? And that's carried. Third and final reading is Councillor Vasilakos and Councillor Burback, moving bylaws 11.1 through 6. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? And that's carried. Item 12 is the consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda this time? Councillor Gaffney.
Yes, Your Worship, items CA 2020-040 and items 2020-041 are those two projects in the position to go at this time. Those two, not projects, but items.
They are the notification for the Infrastructure and Development Services Department Fleet Division to call tenders in accordance with the city's purchasing policy for a sidewalk tractor. And the second one is the Community Services Transit Division calling request for proposal for the supply and installation of up to 12 accessible transit shelters throughout the city as approved in the capital budget. And I do believe they are both proceeding at this time.
Okay, thank you.
All right, there's nothing further. We'll go to item new business. I had Councillor said, but I also had Mr. St. Louis wanted to give an update on something first. So if the Director of Community Services go first, then we have Councillor Seven, and then whoever else. Go ahead.
I just wanted to update you on transit shelters. We have 289 total stops, and we have 32 shelters. And we felt it was in the best interest of our drivers that we close the shelters, as they can be a challenge with physical distancing. And we have some shelters that are bigger than 4x8, there's only 6 of them, and then we have the terminal, which is certainly bigger. We just believe that it provides a little bit more protection and comfort to our drivers in closing the shelters. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councillor, any questions for Mr. St. Louis? Okay, Councillor Seven.
Yeah, thank you for the update. The first, I have 2 items I wanted to address. Just first is the closing of the bus shelter. I guess just my opinion on that is, I feel like if the city feels like that we should be closing the bus shelters, I think we should also be revisiting. At that point, we should be revisiting whether transit is appropriate or not. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we should. I think transit is still important for a lot of people getting around. So it's just my opinion. I think they should go
Councillor Gaffney? You'll second that? Okay, Councillor Vasilakis?
Yes, Your Worship.
Okay, Councillor Vasilakis.
I would like to speak against the motion, only because, transit is an essential service, and I think it actually does need to remain open in some capacity, and we will be changing, process and protocols as we go along to adapt to conditions as they change or as they're needed. And I think staff are in consultation with the public health unit around essential services and how best to mitigate any risk that may be there. I think if staff have identified that the transit shelters, create an operational, challenge in terms of being able to keep essential service open, I think we should actually be, supporting that move. They don't necessarily have to go hand in hand. Not all of our bus stops have a transit shelter. The numbers aren't, as a percentage, aren't that high. And I do think there is a different inability to social distance at the stops outside of the shelters than inside of the shelter, which actually literally is like a little box, that doesn't allow for the type of social distancing we need to have. And so I think motion only because I think also these operational issues are something that staff look at on a daily basis and do a revised risk assessment. They're in consultation with the health unit on what's appropriate, and I don't know that council, making these decisions, in the absence of being privy to all of those conversations with the health unit are helpful at this point.
Thank you. Councillor Bernback, and I see your hand, Councillor Sir. And Councillor Gaffney.
Thank you. I'd just like to add to that, the fact that there are a lot of services in the bus shelters that would have to be sanitized regularly, and I don't know if we do have the staff that be able to do that on a consistent basis. So I think not just social distancing, but also being able to keep those spaces clean where people are going to be touching the surfaces would be really important.
Thank you. Councillor Gaffney, Henderson, and then Councillor Seven. I'll let you go a second then. Councillor Gaffney.
Yeah, just so, it's part of the conversation that, the province does not consider public transport essential services. Windsor and other communities have, shuttered their public transit, so I don't know, if that fits into the comment.
Give you a rough idea, the other day being Saturday, the last full day of operation that I was able to get statistics for, there was roughly 120 riders on the bus, of which 100 of them, transit staff would say were using them to go to and from work or to and from to pick up essential items. We do have about 20 people that are joyriding the bus, and the staff and the police are now chatting with those people about not using public transit in that way. So there is still a number of people using the bus for the intended purpose of essential workers getting to and from jobs or picking up essential items who have no other way of transportation.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Councillor Henderson, then Seven.
I just wanted to bring up that there was, some people had concerns about, the elderly that go to spots that have shelters. And I'm assuming we can't do this, I don't want to put it out there. Is there a way to move the benches outside for now?
Mr. St. Louis?
Through the mayor, I don't believe those benches are movable. Actually, I'm pretty sure that they're not, but we can check.
Okay. Councillor
Well, I
Seven.
think we pretty well know which ones are being heavily used still. I mean, the bus driver should know if something's being heavily used, and even if we have something that we could put there temporary to help out for those that have maybe mobility issues, they can still ride the bus.
Thank you, and just let's recall social distancing, Councillor Henderson, and our benches aren't more than six feet, so.
Good point.
Okay, Councillor Seven.
Yeah, I just wanted to identify, I feel like there's a disconnect between, we know transit ridership is drastically down, and so the chances of more than one person, odds are that when somebody's using the shelter, there's going to be not more than one person, and I think if
Thank you. All right, it's been moved and seconded that the shelters be opened back up. It's been moved by Councillor Seven, second by Councillor Gaffney. All those in favor? 2 opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. The motion is defeated. Any other new business? Councillor Seven?
I just had a question around the municipal accommodation tax and around as the public consultation was canceled prematurely. I'm just wondering what the status is on that coming back.
It has been shelved following the pandemic. We won't be making
Okay, so
we're not making any moves with regard to it as we deal with the state of emergency and the pandemic. So there has been no rescheduling of the public open houses.
thank you.
Anything further? All right, then we're at item 14, which is the confirmatory bylaw, and that's bylaw 11.7. And before, we'll do that one here if I could. Councillor Ritzma and Councillor Burback moving first and second reading. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. Third and final reading is Councillor Gaffney and Councillor Bunting. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. And before we adjourn today's session, I want to thank Michael Humble, the Director of Corporate Services for the city. Michael is retiring from the city later this week on Friday, and I want to wish him all the best, future health, and of course time with his family. And on behalf of the corporation, we thank him for his time with us, and we wish him all the best. And Michael, I wish we could do it in person, but on behalf of council and all the staff, thank you so much for your time. All right, a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Clifford and Councillor Seven. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? And that's carried. Thank you so much.